Noah Gragson picked up a new sponsor. Well, technically Noah Gragson picked up a new sponsor, but it's also an old sponsor that he used to have as well. So, of course, Noah Gragson is in the Cup Series this year, driving the number 10 car for Stewart-Haas Racing, making his return to the Cup Series after a tumultuous rookie season, which saw his season come to an end prematurely due to actions outside of the race car. But when he was with Legacy Motor Club last year, driving that number 42 car, he had 3 sponsors on the car: Wendy's, Black Rifle Coffee, and Sunseeker. Sunseeker had the majority of the races, the majority of the primaries, and that was a Maury Gallagher company, a co-owner in the team. So it was kind of being self-funded by the team. When he was at Junior Motorsports driving the number 9 car, he had Bass Pro Shops as a sponsor. But that, after all, was a JRM sponsorship because when Noah left, the sponsorship stayed with the car, and it ultimately ended up going down to the Cars Tour as well and sponsoring Carson Quapple. But now, with Noah Gragson moving over to the Cup Series, everybody had this assumption that Bass Pro Shops was going to go with him. And hand up, I always said they're not going to, under the clarification that Bass Pro Shops was not a Noah Gragson sponsor. It wasn't a sponsor that he nurtured. They weren't like attached to him necessarily. But now, because apparently Stewart-Haas Racing can't keep a single thing a secret in their shop, there's a photo out of Noah Gragson's number 10 car with Ranger boats on the side of it and Winchester, and basically decked out in Bass Pro Shops sponsorship, which means we're going to see a third Bass Pro Shops car on the track in 2024. Of course, Bass Pro Shops already sponsors the number 19 car of Martin Truex Jr., as well as the number 3 car of Austin Dillon, which is good, and I have no problem with that. We're also getting a third one. And again, if they had the money for it, sponsored cars are what this series needs and what this sport needs. It's what makes everything go faster and have more competitive cars. Don't have a problem with that at all. Just a little bit surprised, in a sense, to see them back with Noah because, again, like I said, they're not a Noah sponsor, but Bass Pro Shops and Tony Stewart do have a great relationship. After all, they spent all those years together winning races when Tony was on the 14 car. So at the end of the day, I guess it makes total sense when you think about it. If I'm Stewart-Haas Racing, though, you gotta be annoyed at the fact that every single time you want to do something, it just seems to get leaked on the internet. I don't know if they just don't care or they're like, you know what, we have much bigger problems to worry about right now than worrying about if somebody sees a paint scheme and a new sponsor on the car. So for Noah, it's great because it means that he's getting sponsorship on the car. He's got Rush Truck Centers. He has this now. Maybe he'll bring over Black Rifle Coffee. We obviously know Wendy's won't be back because they now have a deal with Trackhouse. But for Noah, it's good, especially coming back into a season where there were some questions around him. I mean, we still have performance questions around him, but character questions as well from some people. And Stewart-Haas Racing has a massive hole to fill in the number of fill in the number of primaries that they lost. So when they lost Kevin Harvick and Eric Almirola, I did a video on this a few weeks ago. They basically, lost around a season's worth of sponsorship for 2 cars. Between the 2 of those guys leaving and taking their sponsors with them. So I think it was like 46% of the races in 2024, SHR was going to have to find sponsorship for, primaries, that is. That's a monumental task, especially when there's not a ton of marketing dollars to go around, and it seems like it's harder and harder at times to try to get that. So for them to be able to attract Bass Pro Shops, not a new sponsor to the sport by any means, but the fact that they're willing to commit to a marketing spend for this is a bonus for SHR. And they're going to keep finding sponsorship like this, and if they perform, sponsorship gets a lot easier to find. Just ask Trackhouse. They've been able to attract Busch Beer, Wendy's, and a couple other big-time sponsors as well. So, you perform, people want to go there. People want to be a part of that. And I think Stewart-Haas Racing can right the ship, or at least they have to if they want to find sponsorship. For Noah, like I said, this is great for him. He gets to go out there. He can pretend to be an outdoorsman. Once again, I know growing up in Las Vegas, big time deer hunting territory for him, but it's cool because he has sponsorship on the car. Ford doesn't have to foot the bill, and Gene can finally sit back and be like, well, at least I don't have to write sponsorship dollar for this race. Checks rather, not dollars. He's not writing on dollars. So at the end of the day, it's good for SHR, good for the sport, good for Noah. And I'm excited for it because I don't think we need more Haas tooling or Haas CNC cars on the track. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but having some other sponsorship out there is definitely better. And who knows, maybe it'll turn into something bigger if Austin Dillon retires at the end of the year. That's just me thinking out loud. I don't know anything. I'm just saying it would make total sense if he did. But for Noah, great move. Let me know in the comments, do you like the fact that Bass Pro Shops went there? And does Stewart-Haas Racing even care? That stuff just leaks out at this point. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on TikTok @BreakHard, Instagram and Twitter @BreakHardBlog.